In the secret passage between Calicorda and Mallow Front, you witnessed a confrontation between the life slaves and the Aphros guards. Seeing that the life slaves had spread not only to Bellatus, but also to Trom's Aphros wasteland, you became concerned that the entire continent of Trom might be Poshi was deeply heartbroken that his son was killed by the life slaves and was brought back as one. Lance said that the wasteland bandits, who became life slaves, Pan had been gathering information for you that the Titan creature Durka had been sighted at the Ruins Cave recently. You actually found a scout that was there. Lance informed you that Durka is a creature that frequently changes location, and was concerned that the tectonic shift had blocked the way to the abandoned camp, which was another base of Durka. When you couldn't find a way to do that, on your way to Durka's nest, you found a pagan officer executing a repenter, and in Durka's nest, you learned that Radonimo Archbishop Magus had defeated Durka and obtained the Tears of God before you even arrived. In the end, you were able to defeat Magus. Favina, who came to Mallow Front, suggested that you return to the militia camp in the Nivis Mountains, since they had obtained the second Tears of God. You decided to follow Favina's words. While you were crossing the Aphros wasteland on a sandwalker, there was an invasion of pagans. You were outside at the bow by yourself at the time. Becoming worried about Pan and Weeper, you hurriedly headed back to the room, but Weeper was already injured. Favina said that Bellatus wouldn't have any medical staff to take care of Weeper's wounds. Lance was preparing a refreshing cocktail for the depressed Poshi. Kindly, Lance gave you a note with the following cocktail recipe, and you were curious to see how this cocktail would taste. 1. Shake 40 milliliters of distilled spirits, 15 milliliters of desert. Tider asked for a desert hornet stinger for the timid scout, which is apparently good for building courage. You found the desert hornet stinger easily, but Merchant Benny, who lost his sack due to the life slaves, complained that the current situation felt like a stupid play, and that they were only playing an extra role in it. You heard that rune hunter Mason lost all his belongings while running away from the Dimps. You found a bag in the Aphros ruins that seemed to belong to Mason. Though Repenter Noah made the excuse that he had to abandon the other Repenters in order to survive, he seemed to regret.
You rune hunter? Me Mure. Mure guide you to Devil's Bush. More dangerous than the plague. Monsters revived after Red Moon in the many found in road to Ashen Mud Forest. Kuroku told me you are strong. Really? Boo-Boo curious. The Red Moon rose, and the number of powerful monsters in defeat the reviving bristle branches. Kuroko speaks truth. Honestly, Boo Boo was worried. Now I worry only a little. Rune Hunter got Devil's Bush. Child is sick.
Next is Myrrh Tree Leaf. The Myrrh Tree the professor looked after is at the licorice is also needed if the
I remembered what Drillmaster Eric said about the Tears of God while you were gone. Of course, we are collecting the Tears of God, but if things get worse, can we try to use one on Weeper? I know this is selfish in terms of the greater good, but we can't just let Weeper die. You said you're going out to find herbs, right? Be careful. I don't want to think about you getting sick as well.
Luba is here to gather herbs. Licorice is here. Luba good with smell. Follow smell, and you find it. Very difficult path. Good timing. Found liquor. Herbal decoction? Then Luba tried the herbal decoction before. Actually, Luba went up to there. Luba went to collect. I wish.
Baby needs bark. Bark with strong, usually harmful. But some bark carried by tree nailer is very poisonous. You brought me a tree nailer is difficult. It seems he didn't get mad.
Thank you. We have come monsters keep coming back to... Now I'm relieved.
That should do it for now.
Got most of the ingredients. There's only... It also heals wounds. And the black-haired human asked me to tell you to talk to the other human when...
You're back. I have something urgent to discuss with you. The malicious are having trouble against the life slaves that are rising near their camp. I think I should go and help them out. So, could you please hand me the Tears of God you have? I believe the Tears of God will be of great help in Eric's and William's research.
So Prince Favina took the Tears of God and returned to Nivis Mountains? I know your decision is for the greater good, but that means Weeper will... Even if the world is saved, it seems pointless if I'm all alone. You already knew that I always felt that way, since what happened at Artemis.
Your face not look good. Is something wrong? Burnett grows near the moist rock. Rumbu, older simis than Rumbu waits at Grey Mist Plain.
friend. Beyond this point is the territory of primal Simmuses. The primal Simmuses are very violent. There are also monster primal Simmuses that... Human, Robo has a concern. Recently, there are Simmus who are gone from Simmus Biku. Something must have happened. How barbaric! Who would do this? Rumbo's sad and scared. Must tell Liet once we return. We are nearing Moist Rock Cave. It would be best to pass it on to Liet. It'll be... Burnett is deep inside here. Try to smell if you can't find it. Burnett has us. The roots are used for herbal decoction.
Brought, Burnett! We can now brew the herbal decoction. The child is holding on, but time is running out. Hope.
Corpses hanging from a tree. I have no clue who did this. I believe it is fair to suspect the primal Simisses worship power. So there must be a primal Simis.
Good to see you, Rune Hunter. It's been a while since I Primal Simus. I don't know about them. is because this place is overwhelmed with revived Triagard. I'm guessing even Ramalda revived. I just...
Have you been well? Though there are dead bodies coming back to life, as I said at the time, I went back to Trom and submitted the Of course, the result was a hit, so I thought about what kind of content I should include as it's the thing that the knight writes down when they swear their allegiance. So how about it, Rune Hunter? You'll join me this time too, right?
Debates surrounding the completion of Zodiacs after the details of how to make a runecast was leaked began to escalate into a national scale. Supporters of Zodiac completion organized a drill session in order to create an environment that allows more runes to be used. But those who opposed the idea got involved in the drill, which soon became an all-out war between the two groups.
Ramalda flower. The Simises are originally... It is possible that Ramalda... But only a Simis. There must be a Simis.
What Liet said sounds like a Titan creature. I know the Simises are doing their best. If we find a Titan creature somewhere in Simiswamp, I'm begging you to try it if there's no other choice.
This is good as a reference, but it's not the knight's item. The Knight's Oath contains their resolve when since Romalda Flower has revived, Romalda must be somewhere. Rune Hunter, so how about it? Rune Hunter, you found it! This is it. It's said that knights, on their first day of service, they keep them to read it when their resolve becomes weak. Though Trom's situation isn't great right now, once this chaos subsides, everyone's...
The Primal Simus became strong because of tears of God.
My.
The Primal Simus became strong because of tears of God. But the tears of God is not the only way. Eating ruins or essences can also have a similar effect. Humans may not understand.
In the past, Rumbu once told you that in the world of creatures, the difference in power determines whether you can survive or not, and that creatures...
My. What do we have here? I see you are very talented in treasure hunting as well. It is said that a skilled mage created the Gates of Time somewhere in Bellatus, and positioned a giant tyrant as its gatekeeper. These Gates of Time are said to be connected to the time and space of multiple dimensions, and this is how the location was...
Frode told you about the Gates of Time, which were built by a seasoned mage in the past. Since the space with the Gates of Time is given some sort of cloaking effect, Frode believes that the mage had hidden a great...
What? What do you mean the militia were the ones... There's no reason for the militia to kill the Simuses. There's one thing I couldn't understand since we came to Simiswamp. If Salvis is a pagan, like Prince Favina said, why did he try to save that Mertree? It doesn't make any sense. Without Mertrees, the plague will spread much more easily.
Oh no! You're saying those malicious killed the Simus? And you just brought those horrible humans over here without even considering our position? You humans are always like that. You're always so unbelievably selfish. Simuses always help the humans. But how come humans never help the Simus? Without the professor, we wouldn't have ever helped a human. You owe the professor a debt you'll carry to your grave.
I'm terribly sorry about what happened. But I do have something I want to ask you, Chief.
What is it?
What sort of person is this Professor Salvis? The militia's told us that he's the one behind the pagans.
What did you say? You really are completely shameless. Oh, really? How can you even accuse him of such lies after all he did for you? I think the professor is somewhere near the Nivis Mountains. If you really want to know the truth, go find him and ask him yourself. Your utter lack of manners actually disgusts me. So please excuse me.
All right. I just need to transfer the energy from this crystal to the child. Correct? Don't worry. Liat wouldn't just abandon a sick child. It's faster to reach Nivis Mountains by going through the swamp rock cliff. I'll take good care of the child, so don't get sick until then, human.
This is bad. How can we find Salvus in the vast Nivis Mountains? Should we just go to the militia camp and ask Prince Favina direct? What should we do? I'll follow your decision.
You left Weeper behind at Simis Swamp and headed to Nivis Mountains. The best option you had was to believe in Kuruku and the Simises and pray for Weeper to get better. As you passed the cliff, you thought about what Pan said. The pagans spread the plague, and if Salvus was a pagan, there was no need for him to save the myrrh tree, which is used to treat the plague. You continued your journey and reached Nivis Mountains. The vast snowfield felt as if it had all sorts of hidden knowledge to share, but at the same time, the cold silence reminded you of the unforgiving environment.
Huh. Was this here before? I don't recall seeing this camp. I don't think the militia would make something like this. Huh?
Who are you?
Oh, you are the Ruin Hunter I met in Calicorda.
What brings you here? I didn't see your name on the list of rune hunters Captain Kristen gathered. You are looking for someone, and you don't seem to be willing to tell me whom. Well, that might be wise. It's better not to trust anyone until you're certain. If you need a place to stay, you can use this place. This is a temporary camp, and we will be leaving soon.
How can he order rune hunters to gather at Nivis Mountains when Calicorda is being overwhelmed by the life slaves? Is there something more important than Calicorda to the captain? I really don't know what's going on. Do you have any clues? I'm hoping I'm not the only one who's confused. Even if I am, don't tell me that I'm the only one.
I didn't know our encounter from Calicorda would lead to another meeting like this. We are waiting for directions, as per Captain Kristen's orders. Not all of the rune hunters arrived, so we are actually behind schedule. Can I ask you to go out and see if there are any rune hunters struggling to... The terrain is really complex around here, so it's easy to get lost.
You carried the fatally wounded Weeper and hurried to Simis Swamp. Weeper barely made it through with the help of the Simises, but he was still very weak. Kuroku suggested making a decoction. The first ingredient was devil's bush skin, which is said to be effective in reducing pain. Murray, who was in charge of the route, said that life slaves appeared in Simiswamp. The second and third ingredients were licorice and myrrh tree leaves, respectively. In the process of finding the myrrh tree, Favina said that he should go first because of life slaves that appeared near the militia camp. You handed over the Tears of God to him for the greater cause, but Pan seemed to be hurt. Meanwhile, you went to get the last ingredient for the herbal decoction, the burnet. You were shocked to find the corpse of a Simis hanging from a tree in the... Upon hearing what the Simises had faced, Liet suspected the culprit was a nearby primal Simis tribe. He wanted you to find a strong entity leading the... Due to the nature of the Simises being a homogeneous race, Liet told you that rather than Romalda's flowers, a Simis with extraordinary strength and size would be leading them. As you had expected, Liet was very angry. Pan said that Salvis would not have saved the myrrh tree if he had been a pagan, and tried to confirm the truth of whether Salvis was a pagan. It seemed that Bubba wanted you to show off your skills by killing creatures. It wasn't until you killed the bristle branch that had become a life slave that he confessed that he was actually worried that you might be too young to deal. You killed the spit bloom face that was blocking the way for Luba, who wanted to collect herbs. Luba said that she collects lots of herbs when she comes out, because there are too many life slaves outside. You defeated the revived tree nailer in order to bring the venom bark that Bebe was looking for. But Bebe seemed to believe you had a special secret and thought that you humored the tree nailer to bring the bark. You had to make up something to not destroy Bebe's childhood. Robu was worried about what had happened, saying that the Simises, who had recently gone out to gather herbs, did not return. The traces of the violence inflicted on the Simises were left in the... Informant Frode was out on Simiswamp to find source material for an article. He was looking for a document containing the personal oath of the knight who swore allegiance to Romalda. After trial and error, you found the knight's oath